Welcome to Straight Dive English and Engines podcast.
Hi, everyone. Today, you're in for a real treat. We're looking closely at the 1934 Audi UW front.
Oh yeah, this is a fascinating one.
It really is. Imagine it was the first car in Europe, the very first, to have front-wheel drive working together with a six-cylinder engine.
Wow. That sounds pretty advanced for the 30s, right?
Absolutely. Most cars then, they sent power to the back wheels, standard rear-wheel drives.
Right.
But this Audi, well, it did things differently.
So we're going to get into its story, learn some useful English words about cars.
And practice them, too, so you can use them.
Definitely. And we've got a surprising little fact about this car later on.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
So get ready to boost your English and explore some cool car history.
Okay, let's dive into the story. So, picture this. 1933, the Audi UW front arrives.
And it's making waves.
Big waves.
Wow.
First in Europe, combining front-wheel drive. Remember, that's power to the front wheels.
Pulling the car along.
Exactly. Combining that with a six-cylinder engine, most cars were rear-wheel drive. So this Audi, quite new.
And the name UW Front. That's interesting too, isn't it?
It is, the UW part. It stands for Ungekrönter Wanderer.
German, right? What does that mean?
It means turned around wanderer. See, it used an engine from another car, a Wanderer.
Okay.
But, and here's the clever bit, to make the front-wheel drive work, they flipped the engine, turned it around 180 degrees.
Ah, so it was literally turned around.
Precisely. And it sat behind the front axle. That placement behind the front axle was actually pretty normal then, but the turn-around engine was key.
Got it. So this turned around engine powered the front axle.
You got it. Now, there were two main versions. First, the UW220.
What kind of power did that have?
It had a 1.95-liter engine, about 40 horsepower.
Okay.
Then, later, 1935, came the UW225. Bigger engine, 2.25 liters.
More power.
Yep, up to 55 horsepower. And what's really interesting is that this UW front, with its special front-wheel drive and six-cylinder engine, it was the only Audi model made in large numbers during that whole time.
Really? The only one? How many did they make?
Around 4,500 between 1933 and 1938, which, for such an innovative car back then.
That's quite a few. And it wasn't just about the mechanics, right? It looked good too.
Oh, yeah. It came in different styles. You could get a four-door sedan.
Practical for families.
Right. Or, if you wanted something a bit more fun, a sporty two-door cabriolet.
Like a convertible. Roof goes down.
Exactly. A cabriolet is basically a convertible, and it had that sloping front grille design that was becoming fashionable.
You had options, the practical sedan or the stylish cabriolet.
And another interesting thing, where it was made.
Wasn't it an Audi? So the Audi factory.
You'd think so, but no. It was actually assembled at the Horch plant in Zwickau.
Horch, why there?
Well, the Audi factory was apparently super busy making the popular DKW front-wheel drive cars.
Okay, so they needed help.
Seems like it. So Audi and Horch, two companies that later formed Auto Union, they worked together. This innovative Audi, the one with the advanced front-wheel drive, was assembled at Horch.
Wow. So different parts of the group collaborated to get this car assembled.
Exactly. A real team effort to get this front-wheel drive car built.
Okay, great story. Now let's help everyone lock in some key English words. Time for vocabulary.
Perfect. Let's learn 7 words from our story about this front-wheel drive pioneer.
Yep.
First word, front-wheel drive. That's when the engine's power goes to the front wheels. Repeat. Front-wheel drive.
Front-wheel drive.
The Audi UW front was famous for its front-wheel drive.
A key feature was the front-wheel drive system.
Second word, six-cylinder engine. An engine with 6 cylinders to make power. Repeat. 6-cylinder engine.
6-cylinder engine.
It had a powerful 6-cylinder engine, quite advanced to pair a 6-cylinder engine with front-wheel drive back then.
That 6-cylinder engine made it stand out.
Third word, turned around. Rotated 180 degrees. Repeat. Turned around.
Turned around.
Remember the Wanderer engine? It was turned around for the Audi. This turned around setup was crucial.
The engine being turned around allowed for the front-wheel drive.
Fourth, axle. The rod connecting the wheels. Repeat.
Axle.
The engine sat behind the front axle. Power went to that front axle.
An important part, the axle.
Fifth word, sedan. A 4-door car with a separate trunk. Repeat. Sedan. One body style was the 4-door sedan. A practical choice, the sedan.
Many families probably chose the sedan.
Sixth, cabriolet. A car with a roof that folds down. Repeat. Cabriolet.
Cabriolet.
The other option was the sporty 2-door cabriolet. People liked the open-air feel of the Cabriolet.
The Cabriolet offered a different driving experience.
And seventh, assembled, put together from parts, repeat, assembled.
Or assembled.
The car was assembled at the Horch factory, not Audi's. Many parts were carefully assembled.
It's interesting where it was assembled.
Right, so those are our words. Front-wheel drive, six-cylinder engine, turnaround, axle sedan, cabriolet, and assembled.
Great. Now let's practice listening and speaking. Time for the shadow drill. Listen to me, then you repeat.
Okay, listen carefully.
The Audi UW Front was Europe's first front-wheel drive car with a six-cylinder engine.
The Audi UW Front was Europe's first front-wheel drive car with a six-cylinder engine.
The engine was turned around and located behind the front axle.
The engine was turned around and located behind the front axle.
You could buy it as a four-door sedan or a two-door cabriolet.
You could buy it as a four-door sedan or a two-door cabriolet.
The car was assembled at the Horch plant.
The car was assembled at the Horch plant.
Nicely done.
Yeah, good job. Now, how about that fun fact we promised?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, get this. The Audi UW Front, during its entire production run, it was the only Audi model being produced in, like, large numbers, volume production.
Wow, really? So all other Audis were niche or something?
Seems like it, or maybe just not in mass production at that specific time. This was their main car. Pretty unique, huh?
That is surprising. Okay, let's see how much everyone remembers. Time for a quick mini quiz.
All right, let's test your knowledge.
Question number 1. What made the 1933 Audi UW Front special in Europe? What was its big first?
Short pause. It was the first European car to combine front-wheel drive with a six-cylinder engine.
Exactly. Okay, question 2. What does UW stand for in the name? Think about the engine.
Short pause. UW means Umgekehrter, wanderer. German for turned around wanderer, because the engine was flipped or turned around.
Perfect. Final question. What were the two main body styles you could get?
Short pause. You could choose between a four-door sedan and a two-door cabriolet.
Fantastic. Looks like you were paying attention.
Great answers. So wrapping up, what's the big takeaway here?
Well, the Audi UW Front was clearly a real innovator, being the first in Europe with that front-wheel drive and six-cylinder engine combo. That's significant.
Definitely. It really shows how car companies, like those in Auvergne, were pushing boundaries and experimenting back in the 1930s, thinking about things like front-wheel drive.
Yeah, trying new things.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the Audi UW Front, and hopefully you picked up some useful knowledge too.
Keep practicing those words. Front-wheel drive, six-cylinder engine, turned around, axle, sedan, cabriolet, assembled. Use them when you talk about cars.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time for more English and Engines.
See you then.